Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome back to Jay's One Key event for The Great Escape. We are back with a little bit of a block here, the final four matches actually of this quarterfinals weekend before we send you all on your way to the semifinals weekend. But for now, we have to get through these block of matches, and what a better way to start things off than probably one of our closest matches seeding-wise that we will be seeing in this block. It's a relatively one seed difference. It's going to be Woey versus Sparky. As always, I am Arisani, and joining me in the commentary booth for it's been a while since I've had a second commentator, but it's going to be none other than Teezel. How's it going, Teezel?
Things are going good. Yeah, it's exciting. We have two casters for this match, and it's got really, really high potential for being a close match. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Looks like Sparky's winning the role and immediately going to be picking Mint Comet. Hybrid 2.
Yeah, these two are just only one seed differentials here. Seed 12 and seed 13 in difference. So, I mean, of course, statistically very close, but we all know the full potential that these two players have. They don't really, it's like one of those situations where they don't really need a formal introduction just because everybody knows them, because they've been around for quite a while. I mean, Sparky's been around the One Piece scene probably, I want to say probably maybe JOKE4.
I think that's right.
And Woey has also been around for quite a bit. I can't really pinpoint exactly how long they've been around for, but a quiet riser in the One Key scene.
Woey's also just kind of known for their standard side of things as well. Some absolutely incredible scores, unmatched scores set by that player, so...
Yeah, so both players kind of just knowing each other based off of maybe previous experiences here, but... like you mentioned, opening things up with a Hybrid 2 pick. Sparky is a pretty solid Hybrid player, and this map is fairly tricky with a lot of these doublets and these releases, so maybe Sparky just trying to see, maybe test the waters a bit on how their opponent feels on these more trickier maps with a lot of these doublet spreads and these timings, to just kind of set the stage here. And Woey actually going to open things up with a little bit of a break here.
But Woey actually taking the lead back due to Sparky dropping a lot of 200s.
Yeah, Sparky finding a few 200s, but still holding up to their combo fairly well. And with that, it's just Woey having the better act by almost a full percentage here, but that's a less than 3,000 point difference. That can just even take a few 200s on the side of Woey, and Sparky can have that lead back in her favor, but she needs to climb that accuracy.
Yeah, we do have a bit of a combo builder, but it is filled with all these doublets that are really easy to trip up on. Neither of our players missed on them on the intro, so once again, hopefully just a combo builder.
Yeah, it builds Woey back up to that 400 combo cap here. Now, relatively, the distance of a miss is that score lead here, around 5,000 points or so, as Sparky is making a steady recovery on her accuracy. I feel as long as both of these players can nail down these doublets here, and I mean that's like pretty much the big outstander here. Although Sparky picking up a few bad judgments here, rushing a few of these doublets, picking up some 100s and a break to cap things off. That's gonna give Woey a almost a 30,000 point lead now.
Yeah, things are looking really good for Woey with a quarter of the map left to go.
Yeah, and Sparky gonna
from Sparky.
Gonna pick up another break here as Woey will just increase that lead now to 40,000 points, making a steady recovery on that earlier break they have gotten and climb back up to a 99. While Sparky, unfortunately, maybe that consistency factor just starting to really take a toll on them right now, as they are picking up a lot more breaks in this later half and some 50s being fallen. But I think it's too late for any major miracles to happen here, as Woey, I think, will safely walk away here with an early break point and also the first point of this match.
Oh, the full combo.
No.
Well, the almost full combo.
I'm pretty sure they like broke earlier in the map, but yeah.
Yeah, they had a slider
Still,
break early on, but
very, very impressive scores from both sides here.
yeah,
And
really strong stuff. Unfortunately for Sparky, losing the first pick, breakpoint for Woey straight away, going into race 1.
yeah, that is a very complex map, as you did see. Lots of very uncomfortable doublets that Sparky maybe that found a bit of error on that caused her to rush a few sections. But now we're kind of switching things up here, opting for race 1, like you mentioned. I feel this could be a better pick to maybe get Sparky back up on to full strength here and tie things up potentially. But I mean, we did see the ratio on Hybrid 2. It benefited Woey a lot more than Sparky's, but now we're just headed into pure rice. So let's see how this one goes.
Yeah, this map also has a bunch of doublets in it, just as I guess pretty much every map in this pool does. We do see quite a significant amount of poor judgments coming out immediately from some players, from all of the from both players rather. But Sparky going to be the one taking the lead with a miss from Woey.
Yeah, and even with a bit of a rough start from both sides, both players kind of rushing that opening stream section there. Woey actually, I think, rushed a lot, like a lot of 100s and so, but Sparky making a steady recovery on the act and also banking off of Woey's miss. That will give Sparky a near 30,000 point lead to work with heading in almost out of the first half of this map here. As progressing further now, Sparky almost at the 99 range, while Woey is slowly but surely clawing back at what lead they can get back here, as Sparky does find a bit of 200s here to shrink that lead down to just only 30,000 points, but you're going to need a lot more than that.
Yeah, definitely we need a miss to coming from Sparky. The third of the map left to go. We've got a difficult, more dense section here.
Yeah, with these fast bursts raining down, not going to catch up anyone here. Sparky successfully climbs her way back to a 99 here, as Woey just trying their best. I mean, keeping her on her tail is a pretty strong case now for Woey here, as they are almost at a 98 range, so all it can really take is a monumental collapse, and that lead will shrink by a wide margin. But right now, with this map slowly weaning down to its end, the final 100,000 points in play now, I think if Sparky just keeps things up, she can run away with the back-to-back breakpoints from both sides, and we are tied at 1.
We just had 2 breakpoints in a row in the opening picks of the match.
That's when you know we are in for an absolute ride. And Woey beat Sparky in the ratio game, but not by much. That was only 19 300s.
Yeah, quite a few more of the good and the bad judgments, though. So keeping the score down overall. But we're going to be heading back over to Sparky, picking Speed 1.
You're looking to see if Sparky can capitalize off of her breakpoint here and take a formal lead in this match here. And, I mean, makes sense that you would go for this pick instead of Speed 2. As not only is Speed 2 insanely longer, but there's a lot more complexity, lots of timing switch-ups, lots of more bursty sections that can definitely trip up the players, while this is a lot more just textbook speed, where you really just have to worry about the LNs that rain down, more or less than actually focusing on, you know, switching up your timing. Here we go.
Yeah, with the caliber of player that we have here, I don't think they're going to be getting too significantly caught out on some of these bursts. I mean, if they're going to miss it, it's probably going to be on the bursts, but I don't think it's going to be a huge challenge for them. It's going to be very, very close for the majority of this map, I feel.
Yeah, for the majority. Oh, wow. And as we say that, there is a break picked up from Sparky, and that will drop her accuracy significantly down to a high 98, while Woey is almost a full percentage ahead of Sparky here.
It's a fairly long map, though. Still plenty of time for Woey to make mistakes.
Yeah, and we have seen it before where these mistakes can happen, especially in that later half of the map. And right now, heading into a little bit of a break, Sparky is starting to catch up on her accuracy. Almost about to hit that 400 combo cap, which can ease a bit of that score leverage going over to Woey at the current moment here. And as she hits it, that lead will start to just shrink just a tad bit to roughly maybe 20,000 points or so, as more of these elongated stream sections come raining down here, but not going to trip up anyone, as Woey is still at a 99.84.
Yeah, Woey just not making any mistakes, but Sparky is right behind them to catch them out if they do. Third of the map left to go.
Yeah, but
Bursts are a bit longer.
Sparky almost risked a miss there, just hitting a bit late on this burst there, but only at the sacrifice of just a few 200s. But there's going to be a break, missing on that transition into the LNs, and that's what I was talking about. These more LN parts of the map can definitely trip up players if they're not careful. And now Woey working with a 45,000 point lead. Sparky getting another break, as Woey now 50,000 points in their ballpark, still 99.85. Is that a V1SS run we're seeing? That's my question that I'm willing to ask here.
There's a wee bit of map left to go, but it's looking good.
Yeah, even with 57,000 points, I don't think there's enough time for miracles to happen, unfortunately. And Woey, back-to-back-to-back breakpoints for to start off this match, and V1SS coming out of Woey, almost a 1-to-10 ratio as well. A very impressive score. And also with Sparky as well, just behind on that 99 mark, but only 2 misses on a map like this is very, very solid.
Absolutely. And Woey gonna try keep the lead with Rice 4.
Yeah, gonna opt for our shortest map in this pool. Only just under a minute and a half, but it is a very, very physical Rice. Probably the most physical Rice we have in this pool. And I think maybe Woey's just gonna try to see if they can beat out Sparky just on the raw, just physicality level here. As, I mean, one break and it's pretty much set in stone, especially with that ending with those very, very long speed sections that can really throw off players if they're not careful.
Yeah, it's an interesting map. It has quite a lot packed into less than 1 minute 30 seconds. But the overall aspect of it is just kind of consistency on both doublets and streams.
Yeah, it is a very jam-packed map here, and I mean, right now both these players picking up a few 200s here. Sparky picking up more in contrast to Woey, just in this opening section though. But like I said, this map is very, very short. You can't find much room for error as Sparky picks up a nasty break. That will drop her down to the low A rank section. It's just, this is 200 BPM gallops and streams here. And, I mean, she is starting to feel the rhythm back in, but that's already 70,000 points in favor of Woey.
You need to see huge breaks on the streams from Woey for Sparky to be able to come back from this one.
Although Sparky is starting to make a fantastic comeback here, and there is still those very long streams at the end of this map that could throw off Woey. Here it comes.
Looks like Woey's looking a bit more consistent on the accuracy of these streams. Quite a few more rainbows.
Yeah, but both players... Oh, Sparky hitting a bit early here, but managing to get the rhythm back. But yeah, Woey being a lot more clean on these very long streams. And as the map gets to its conclusion, Woey will be running away with this, and will be capitalizing off of their break point here, and only a singular 200 from them, as a 993.3 in quarterfinals is a bit crazy. But Sparky immediately fires back with the only long note map we have in this pool. Wow.
Yeah, look, Sparky's been around in Mania for long enough to know what an LN is. And I believe Sparky's done fairly well on LN style charts in the past, you know, especially if they were willing to go with Hybrid 2 as a first pick, which also has quite a lot of different LN kind of changes going on, so...
This map
seems like a sensible pick.
This map is a very tricky map as well to really get the feel of, but you were correct about Sparky knowing the feel of LN. So I feel going with this, maybe just try to see if she can throw off Woey here. And I mean, it could definitely work. This is a must-win pick here for Sparky because you don't want to give up another breakpoint to Woey here. And opening things up with some pretty nasty breaks. This is what I was about to say. These very technical LNs here with these very, very fast doublets immediately catches up Sparky in this early part of the map here. They're just very fast and uncomfortable to really hit.
Yeah, things are looking pretty rough for Sparky. 95%, Woey mid-99s.
Yeah, there is still map left to go, but it's just Woey has been very, very, very consistent throughout these maps. And I mean, there's a break from Woey, but we're gonna just have to see more than just one singular break here that will shrink the lead by the tiniest of margins down to 50,000 points. But we're gonna have to see more Sparky. We'll hit that 400 combo cap, but we're gonna have to see some more major accuracy drops on the side of Woey. That will not be enough.
Yeah, that score difference still hover around 50k. Only a third of the map left to go.
Yeah, but here comes
Couple
the final
100
quarter.
judgments.
But that will only shrink things just by a tiny bit, as Woey is still at that 99 mark here. But we're heading into the final quarter now. We could see some big differences here, as it is a very tame section, with just the exception of these doublets and these bursts. But these players can have it nailed down to a T. But, oh, Sparky finding a bit of combo breaks here. I think if that wasn't the final nail in the coffin, I don't know what is, as Woey now taking another break point and going to actually set things at a match point situation here against Sparky.
Yeah, Woey doing very well this match. Mostly just some unfortunate chokes in their scores. And now 4-1, it's over to Woey's pick, looking to close the match out.
Yeah, looking to shut the door on Sparky here and advance to that loser's semifinals, but there is still a long way to go here, as, I mean, last time it was a 4-1 lead. The player came back and reverse swept to make things 4-5. Just saying.
Well, here we are in Rice 2. Quite a bursty map.
Yeah, lots of bursts filled in this map, and I think you kind of nailed it right on the money there. This map, very, very burst heavy, and kind of like what Woey probably feels best going for will be these final remaining Rice picks. But Woey actually going to pick up an early break here, but nothing really too much to scoff about. This is a 2.5 minute long map, and some of these bursts can get really tricky. So, not the biggest concern so far out of the gate.
Yeah, 6,000 score, but we've still got a lot of map to go. Sparky needs to be able to hold on to that lead.
Yeah, Sparky holding on to a 3,000 point lead solely just off of these breaks from Woey, but there's another one actually, as now Sparky working with 12,000 points, but there is still that, and this is probably the part where Sparky's gonna realize, oh, I'm ahead by 12,000 points, but my opponent is right on my tail with the accuracy. So I feel as if that I think maybe Sparky gonna have to lock in on that accuracy department while Woey needs to stay behind and just pray for a break or something on the side of Sparky here. Here we go.
Yeah, this map doesn't really kind of throw any new surprises at you at all. It's pretty consistent throughout. Mostly just looking to see how these players manage the bursts.
Yeah, and as we head into the final quarter, this is where some of the bursts can get very tricky, especially near the ending of this map. Right here, actually already kind of seeing a precursor on what's going to happen later on. And I mean, this is a pretty, right here. This is a very uncomfortable section, and Woey is ahead in the accuracy. So Sparky just needs to lock in on that combo. They cannot afford any form of break. Maybe a few 200s here and there, but combo is their #1 priority at this current moment. And it is very easy to trip up on these bursts, these slowdowns near the end. But if Sparky holds on, and she will, even with a few 200s, she will stay alive for another day and take a crucial break point.
Yeah, really, really good there.
I'm getting
full
deja
combo.
vu. I'm getting deja vu.
Seeing the difference in the accuracy is crazy. It's those misses for Woey were just so significant.
Yeah, it was just those misses that really gave it over to Sparky, and now Sparky with their last pick of this match, and I honestly don't know. I mean, there is speed too, but that is a very, very risky pick. And she's gonna go for it.
There it is.
I mean, honestly, I feel like that's her best option though. I feel like risking a Rice where Woey has been staying this entire round, I don't think is a good idea. And also, the Hybrid 1 is very tricky to play, so I think sticking just to Speed 2 is probably the way to go. But this map is tricky. Lots of timings where it's very hard to get nailed down to a T. So, I don't know. I feel just as long as Sparky stays dialed in on this pick and knows where to slow down for those timings and pick things back up, it could potentially be another point for her, but we're going to have to see. And yeah, you can see by the length of the map, 4 minutes of pure speed.
Yeah, it's a rough one. Fortunately, we do have some slowdown sections, such as this one. Right back into it.
Yeah, this is a pretty tricky part of the map here, dealing with these bursts that transition into these gallops and some streams here, but... Oh, Sparky gonna find a really nasty play on that! But wait, was that Bancho?
Never mind, it was all Bancho.
Oh, I'm telling you, it is OWC weekend. That is what's causing Bancho to lose its mind here, but we are back.
Clear Mouse has been destroying the cloud.
Yeah, it is currently Curse You Osu World Cup for destroying our Bancho client, but we're gonna find some 200s here. Sparky's gonna have a bit of a lead here.
It's really minimal though. It's back and forth.
And they nailed the slowdown sections, and heading into Oh man, I don't even want to speak right now as Sparky finds some 200s.
It's less than 2,000 points in it.
Oh my god.
We're not even halfway through the map yet.
Yeah, it's just these players have been oh so consistent. And I mean, we're just moments away from that second break of the map where they can kind of just catch their breath. And yeah, here we are back with a little bit of a break here. 4,000 points in favor of Woey, but that's only from the 200 that Sparky has really given. And there's still this back half of the map left to go. So it's not entirely safe here for Woey, as there is still a ton of map left to go. Here we go.
Building up to the next section. Alright, 5,000 in favor of Woey.
Slow down section, no one gonna get tripped up on that, but here come the parts where the bursts get a bit faster. Don't think no one finding any trip ups whatsoever, and now Woey with a 6,000 point lead now heading to the final quarter. Time is ticking, but I mean, there is just still a ton of these bursts that come raining down, so it's not like map is running out, but oh, there's a 200 from Woey, but we're gonna have to see a bit more than just that.
Unfortunately, we've seen a couple more 200s coming from Sparky, keeping Woey in the lead by about 8,000.
Yeah, and I think unless Woey finds something detrimental, this map is slowly coming to its conclusion. We're gonna have to see something on the side of Woey fast if Sparky wants to stay in this tournament. It's 7,000 points, but even despite that close lead, it's only this outro, which is just these basic notes, and I don't think, unless Woey just has some sort of like hardware malfunction or something, I don't think it's gonna change. And ladies and gentlemen, Woey will take this match 5-2, almost like very close there. It could have went it could have went either way, but oh my goodness.
Yeah, very strong scores from both players there. It's not too common you see two full combos like this on players that aren't at the very top of the seedings. But yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I know. Very impressive scores from both sides. Sparky with a 983k with that FC in place. Woey with a 991. And oh man, it was looking very dicey, yeah, especially near the end there. But there can only be one winner, and it will be Woey taking this match 5-2. And unfortunately, we're going to be seeing the commentator GOAT knocked out of the tournament. Sparky has had one hell of a run, but unfortunately, their time has come. And Woey has successfully punched their ticket into the losers semifinals against Peaceful next weekend.
Oh no. Good luck.
Yeah, you're really gonna need it, but happening actually right now pretty soon is going to be Minus versus alemagno333. So I think I don't know what will happen. I don't know if we're gonna just immediately switch into that match or just prep behind the scenes for it. I don't know what's gonna happen. So
I'm not too sure either.
We're gonna have to get further clarification. So, and it looks like we will transition into this match, but gotta do some prepping in the background before doing so. So give us some time for that. So we'll be back in a bit. Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to Jay's One Key event number 4, The Great Escape. We are back after a very short break just to prep things for our next match of this block. It's going to be Minus versus alemagno333. I believe another loser's bracket match, so it is a fight to the death between these two players to see who can keep their tournament run alive in this tournament. As always, I am Arasani, and also, as always, I will be riding solo for this match. Teezel got kidnapped by Jay, so it's just me now. And I feel like this match can really just go either way as well. I feel like it's another really close-seeded match. I'm unsure. I'll have to double check on that one. But anyway, alemagno gonna be winning the role here. They will be going for their first pick of this match. So gonna be interesting to see what they want to go for to open things up. And let me just grab the bracket here to see has their opponent been decided yet, you know, how things gonna. So this is a pretty close seeded match, seed 10 versus seed 15, and the winner of this match will actually verse Zubin. They will verse Zubin next weekend in that losers semifinal. So gonna be very interesting to see that. But alemagno with the first pick, they're gonna opt for LN1, so gonna open things up with spoiler alert. Makes sense, honestly. I know alemagno is a very strong LN player, and I believe Minus comes from one of the few players to actually come from the standard scene. Actually, most of these players do kind of rise from either Taiko or just in Osumania themselves. It's rare we see some standard players show up, so Minus representing the standard community here, and I believe alemagno is also one of our Taiko players that migrated to the one key scene, so it is Taiko versus standard. But here we go, opening things up. I feel like alemagno just trying to see how their opponent can do on LN, just kind of testing the waters. But with this, it's a bit tough because there's only one LN map. I mean, there are two hybrids, so you do have that. But right now, Minus, even though both these players broke pretty early on in the map, it's just alemagno having a pretty low accuracy in contrast to Minus right now, as they are at a 98.4 right now. Now almost 30,000 points of difference to go between these two players, and I mean, there is still a bit of map for these players to come back, but a bit of a pretty wide lead in this current moment, but it can definitely shift in a matter of a heartbeat, especially with alemagno almost climbing up to that 400 combo cap. But there's just so many easy sections to trip up on. There's a lot of these fast doublets, these gallops as well, that can throw off some players if they are not careful. But right now, alemagno making a fast recovery into that 97 range now. But there's a slider break, and now Minus gonna stick into that almost 50,000 point range here. As these gallops come raining down here, there's not much map left to go, as Minus has just been in the driver's seat ever since that break came down from them here. As alemagno trying their hardest, there is still tons of map left to go, so it's not entirely over. But as the map comes to a conclusion here, alemagno just gonna find another break here, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the final nail in the coffin, and Minus is gonna quickly jump out and take a 1-0 lead here in this match, and also the first break point of this match. Very quick and early point for Minus, and I feel for them, I think they'll probably go into that rice department So Minus is a very strong player in that Rice range. I think maybe we can see Rice, maybe Rice 4, Rice 3 come out here for Minus. I don't think, or actually maybe Rice 2 would be the pick to go for if I were Minus. But they're actually gonna, I mean, yeah, I could also see a speed pick from Minus, just not really gonna bother with that LN pool, I feel like, or hybrid base pool, as that is what alemagno is quite strong in, and just maybe seeing if their opponent has hit a skill cap. So we are gonna have to see.
Embrace the flame.
But here we go, opening things up here. I feel like it's just gonna come down to just probably lower 200 count, better ratio, something like that. I feel like this map fairly easy to avoid breaks on, but it is entirely possible. Don't want to, you know, immediately call things out in this current moment. Right now, alemagno actually having a bit of a lead for right now. But that's just about so far. And right now, it is very neck and neck between these two players. Going back and forth pretty much. Minus. Oh, but there's a break from alemagno, and that's going to be the first break of this map here. And now Minus will have a pretty strong lead here, headed into the back half of this map now, as it is by quite a bit. But as we head into the final quarter here, alemagno picking up another break here. And just some of these doublets really, or gallops really catching them off, whereas Minus is just staying in that driver's seat for the longest time here. And oh, Minus going to get a break here, but I don't think it's going to matter as they already have built up a very strong lead. And as the final bursts come raining down, Minus is going to capitalize off of their break point and make things 2-0. And Hybrid 2 will come out here for alemagno. So gonna stick into the LN department and see. I mean, LN1 did not exactly go their way. So maybe this could work. But let's see. Here we go, underway with Hybrid 2. This is a very tricky map, almost on par with what with what the LN map is. Lots of these very fast doublets with these timings, which you're really gonna have to look out for. But right now, these players dialed in with this opening. Not really any concrete stuff, but we just started off this map. And I mean, this is a must-win for alemagno, as they don't want to give up another breakpoint to minus here. As right now, both these players absolutely dialed in past the 400 combo cap, still FCs on the board. alemagno is pretty prone to missing quite early, but so far they have had a very solid opening so far here, but minus is just ahead by accuracy here at 99.6 for them, and roughly 7,000 points of difference headed into a little bit of a break here. And here we go as alemagno picks up the first break of this map, and they're down in that 98 range. 20,000 points in favor of minus. Headed into the final third of the map here. As, oh man, I feel like with that 20,000 point gap, we're gonna have to see a lot come out of minus here, but it's just, are they willing to give up any form of lead, really, to the side of alemagno? 22,000 points in their favor. As some of these streams come raining down here, nothing really stopping minus here. Neither is alemagno, even though those breaks really did get them in the long run. They're making a very steady recovery here. They're back up into that 99 range. But we're going to have to see something come out of minus, and right now they've been staying heavily consistent throughout this map. Even though a few 200s come out, not really going to matter, as alemagno, even though their best efforts really come back from some of those breaks, 99%, just a bit behind here on minus, as minus will be running away with this and will make things 3-0. And also on a break point as well. And I feel if I was minus, I think Rice 4 would be a very good pick. Go for that very short map. And actually, we're going to see the complete opposite of that. We're going to see Speed 2 come out here for minus. So a bit of an interesting pick here for minus, but and here we go, underway with Speed 2. And I'm interested to see how this one will go. I mean, alemagno was very close on Speed 1, but it was just these breaks that really just gave the lead over to minus. And right now, we're kind of seeing that same pattern here. And I mean, that was just the intro, so there is still plenty to go, but not a very strong start here for alemagno. This map is quite long, too. Only around 4 minutes or so there is still plenty of map, but still, it's just minus has been very consistent throughout these picks. fast streams coming down, not going to catch up anyone. And right now, minus 99.7 for them all. alemagno making a very fast recovery here. They're back up to that 400 combo cap, but it's just their accuracy is lacking in contrast to minus. But that's 7,000 points of difference. That's a miss in a few 100s of difference. And if minus can somehow find that, I mean, there's a slowdown section here if people are not careful, but they do make it through. And right now, minus not finding practically anything. Still 7,000 points of difference, however. Heading into the back half of this map here. There is still map left to go, so it's not entirely safe for minus, neither is it over for alemagno, so there is still time for stuff to happen. It's just, it needs to happen fairly soon because time might start running out here, and minus is a very consistent player. They rarely miss on stuff, but it's just, it's not entirely impossible, but it's rare. Another slowdown section, not going to catch up anyone really, outside of maybe a few 200s or so. And as minus, we're nearing the final quarter of the map here. Both players still dialed in. It's just alemagno giving up a bit of the act on the side of minus here. 10,000 points of difference. We're going to have to see some breaks pretty soon if alemagno wants a shot here. But it doesn't look like anything is going to come out off of minus here. As, oh man. It's just this ending here, and if minus doesn't find anything, which they did drop a bit of act, but it's going to be nothing much. And with that, minus will now go up 4-0 at a match point situation. Now alemagno having their back against the wall here. They need to take this next pick if they want their tournament runs to stay alive here, and that's an impressive score on both sides. 981k with a miss from alemagno, and minus here 990k FC, very solid score. And unfortunately, alemagno kind of missed at the start of the map here, but even then, if that miss wasn't registered, it still would have went over to minus here, just off of the 300 count and the 200s. And with that now, it's alemagno's potentially last pick of this match, and I mean, on a match point situation, I don't know what alemagno would want to go for here. There is one hybrid map left on the board, so maybe hybrid 1 could be the pick. And I feel like that's what alemagno would want to go for. Avoid those rices at all costs. And oh, we're actually going to see Rice 3 come out of alemagno. I thought they would stick to the hybrids, but no. Rice 3 will be the pick. And here we go. Underway with what could potentially be the final pick of this match. This is a fairly long map as well, almost 4 minutes. And, I mean, it's not as dense as Speed 2, but there is still margin for error if you are not careful. And minus right now, 400 points a lead in their favor. This map has just started though, so there isn't really much to really go off of to open up here. It is a 200, however, from Alemagno, but nothing really much to really call out on, as it is still less than 1,000 points of difference between these two. And now it's starting to just flicker back and forth as minus drops a bit of accuracy. That's going to head towards Alemagno, but now it's still resting at just 600 points of difference between these two players. And right now Alemagno just really needs a miracler, but that's not going to help them. A break coming out of Alemagno and a few 200s as well that will give an 8,000 point lead over to minus here, as we are about to head into the back half of the map here. This is not what you want to see if you are Alemagno right now. Oh man. If I were Alemagno, I'd be a bit worried right now and just preying on my enemy's downfall, but it will take 1,000,001 nations to really see minus to find any form of drop here, as they have 12,000 points to lead in their favor headed into the back half here. Final third of the map left to go. And although Alemagno is back up to that 400 combo cap, that won't be much, as it is still a pretty big difference between the two here. And as headed into the final quarter here, minus still with the FC. Even if Alemagno manages to lock in and not find any more breaks, it's mainly just minus needs to find something in return, as they have not been able to find anything to give back to Alemagno here. And as the map reaches its ending here, we're nearing the final 100k of the map here, and final section to go. And if we don't see anything, minus will pull off a clean sweep here, and we'll win this match 5-0, and a break from Alemagno to cap things off. And minus, with a clean sweep, will win this match against Alemagno and advance to the losers semifinals. Once again, congratulations to minus, commiserations to Alemagno, giving it your all, but unfortunately there can only be one winner here, and it is minus, as they have successfully punched their ticket into the losers semifinals with a match against Zubin next weekend. So congratulations, minus, for advancing to the losers semifinals. Unfortunately, it is the end of the line for Alemagno. They put up an insanely good effort, but it is not enough, as now we are down to our final two matches of this round, our quarterfinals weekend. And just in roughly half an hour, it's going to be a Sailmaster Ola versus Jackson. And then at 21 UTC, after that match, will be the final match, which I believe is Ambiscuit versus Pulsing. So until then, I've been Arasoni. We will see you all later. Goodbye.